Welcome to another episode of Thoughts of a Dog Trainer. This is episode 3, and today's topic is about what to do when things do not go as planned. So as you can see in the beginning of this training exercise, we're just getting things ready and things are going great, but at some point things kind of go haywire. Just give you a little teaser. So as some of you know, that Olive is a little reactive. We did pick her up as a rescue dog, and she came with a little bit of baggage, and that's what we're working through. So you'll see this unplanned reaction that she has with something in the back right of the yard. And I'll show you my response or lack of a response to be able to remedy it. And then I quickly go into dog trainer mode in order to alleviate that anxiety and start to place in more desirable behaviors so she can have more, better tools for next time when she encounters a challenge. So right now I'm just warming up the dogs. I'm just using this little game that I call Focus in Motion, where I move and the dog focuses on me and I throw a treat away. By throwing the treat away, that's a way to determine if they want to come back to you. And so yes, when you begin this, the value is in the food. They're coming back to you because they know you have food. But I'm also placing in a lot of cues, which is me running around like a goof. And so that's going to have the value. And the food transfers into the value of me moving. So when I move, the dogs understand that, oh, he's moving, so therefore something's going to happen. Better engage with him. And now that I have their voluntary focus, because there's no commands, they're voluntarily coming to me. This is the basis of LIT training, less intrusive training. Now that I have their voluntary focus, I'm starting to incorporate obedience. So I did a couple close fronts there, asked for a couple downs. And so I highly encourage you to make sure you're doing all you can to get your dog's attention, their voluntary focus. And when you have this, the obedience comes so much easier. So we're doing a down, a little bit of a stay, throwing them away. So see if they will voluntarily come back. And it also indicates to me that they do not mind the difficulty of this challenge. And I think Oda is offering a down there. So I'm just waiting for Olive to give me her attention. Got some fire truck sounds, which is great for her to socialize with. She is quite sound sensitive. So she's come a long ways in not reacting and barking to the sounds of the sirens. This is, of course, remedied with tons and tons of daily exercises. We do not wait for the passage of time for a dog to hopefully overcome these things. We must intervene as dog parents and build exercises so they can overcome. So now we're moving on to the next level. Now that the dogs are warmed up, we're doing a little hand targeting. So I just stick out my hand. Whoever wants service, always wants service. That's why she jumps with so much enthusiasm. So I just stick it out. And even though Olive is not engaging, that's fine because it has to be voluntary. So she's the one that touches. I throw her away. And not only are we determining if the dogs will voluntarily return to me, but by throwing the treat out into the grass, we're working their noses, working their brains. So this is an important aspect to be incorporated into your dog's daily exercises, nose work. So Oda's very engaged. Oda's always been very engaged from day one. So because of her engagement from day one, I worked on that. I worked on her strengths, and I really taught her to really put a lot of emphasis on the nose target, to really chase the hand down, put a lot of pressure on it. And of course, I was getting there. So there is the reaction out of nowhere. And if you did do a playback, you'll see her give me an early sign. I did not see it. She looked over there. And so I just calmly pick up the long line. I look at what's in the corner. Nothing's of danger. It doesn't matter what was there. It completely does not matter whether it was a squirrel, a cat, or a bird. It does not matter. The whole point is that you're remaining extremely calm to not contribute to your dog's anxiety. So note that I had no verbal reaction. I had no body reaction, nothing. And so I just grabbed the long line to put her into safety, and I quickly let go of the long line because she had a fast recovery. And if your dog does have a reaction, there's a few things to assess. How fast was the reaction? How fast did it take for the dog to spike up? How long was the reaction for? And how quickly did they resolve themselves down? So I would say that reaction happened within like 1 second. She noticed something, and it lasted for about 2 seconds of barking and a little bit of posturing. And then her recovery is not quite done, even though she seems like she's quite engaged with me. I would say the peak of that recovery is already done. Maybe she resolved in maybe 2 seconds. But she's not fully resolved because she is looking back at that corner fairly, calmly. But she is looking back, so she's just coming down from that. Now that she's coming down, notice this exercise that I'm incorporating. I'm incorporating hand targeting, which is going to be called the start button, and I'll explain in a second. And I put her reward in the vicinity of the thing that she's scared of. So there's a couple things that are happening here. The hand target is called a start button, because if she touches it, I'm going to take her back to where the scary spot is and put food there. So I'm raising the value of that scary spot. Now, the reason why the start button is valuable is because if dog associates hand targeting with returning to the scary corner, all they have to do is not touch my hand, and that's their way of communicating to me that, hey buddy, I don't want to go back there. And so if she were not to touch my hand, I wouldn't take her back. And this is a way to give your dog a voice instead of constantly pressuring them into an exercise, into a context, into some sort of location, towards a specific trigger. We just wait for the dog to communicate to us with touch or motion, and we know exactly where their anxiety levels are. So she's looking back at the corner, no reaction. She looks at me, which is great. So I'm rewarding her for looking back at me. And once again, I'm not cueing it. You do not want to cue your dog to look at you if they're stressed out about something in the corner here, like Olive is. Because if she's stressed out by looking at something that's the back there that's bothering her, and then I ask her to focus on me and I'm injecting little bits of work, that stresses her out even more. So imagine you were fearful of something like spiders, and then someone asks you to do some work like, hey, can you go file those papers nearby the spiders? Or can you go grab those office tools by those spiders? They're going to be panicking more because not only do they have to deal with the anxiety of the spiders, but now they have to deal with this workload that they have to do, and it's quite overwhelming. So instead, we allow Olive to look at the corner, the so-called spiders, and then when she voluntarily looks at me, she's saying, yeah, I'm looking at you because I'm actually not stressed out anymore. So we reward the emotional response of relief and calmness. Okay, so back to the less intrusive training, back to taking her to the corner that sparked that reaction. And I would feel pretty comfortable in saying that she's pretty much fully recovered. So she's voluntarily coming back to me. And I'm just doing a little bit of obedience. Good. If she was not able to do obedience, then that's another indicator that she's still stressed out, but she's quite functional right now. And even if she were able to do obedience, I also want to look at how responsive and how proficient she is. So is her spins a little slower than usual? Is her sits a little slower than usual? If they are, then I know there's a little bit of that anxiety left. But, she's looking pretty good, so I'm engaging for longer. I'm asking a little more from her because I know that she's come down from that. And she's looking around, nothing to be worried about there. Oda's pretty unaffected, but she definitely doesn't want to miss out on anything. So she's looking at the corner there, no response. Wait for her to look at you voluntarily. Reward the good behavior. So this is the beauty of positive reinforcement training. Reinforce what you want, ignore, prevent, and manage what you don't want. Okay? So instead of yelling at my dog and possibly heightening their anxiety or contributing to their anxiety, I'm just allowing her to make the decisions all on her own and capitalizing on that, reinforcing that, reinforcing her good decisions. Okay, this is cool. So she's just exploring now. I'm just looking at her. I'm not sure exactly. I don't remember what she's moving towards, but judging by my body language, I'm not too worried. Or maybe there was something of concern there, but I've just programmed myself not to react because I know that's a detriment to the dog. So I really train my body language to be extremely calm when my dogs have, well, when Olive has a reaction. Oda is a beast, so she doesn't really react to too many things. And so just doing some more corner stuff, making sure that she's okay with eating and foraging over there. And that's another thing I'm doing as well, is that corner in that immediate moment is a place of contention and a place of worry for her. So now I'm just slowly transforming it as a place for feeding and for finding rewards. So we're changing the value of not only the situation, but also the location in the backyard. So a couple heels, some close fronts. The girls are really awesome at following, and this translates into loose leash walking. So I think we're about to end the training session. It's very important to keep it short. So the whole session's maybe about 11 or 12 minutes, and I think about half of that was just training, and the other half was dealing with resolving Olive's anxiety towards the corner. And I'm feeling pretty good because she's offering calm behaviors. And Oda is also a great role model for Olive. She's pretty calm at all times. I give the girls a free signal to let them both know that everything is done. So this is another episode of Thoughts of a Dog Trainer. I hope you pick something up from this and how to deal with a situation that is unexpected. You are just planning to have a good time with your dogs and something happens, and it's all about remaining calm, putting on your dog trainer's hat and address the situation. Do everything you've learned, remain calm, and things will always turn up well for everybody involved. So this has been another episode of Thoughts of a Dog Trainer. Now you know what's going on inside of my head when I'm working with my dogs. See you in the next one.